Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the Burgers and Fries podcast, your Bob's Burgers companion podcast. With you is Brian and Ryan, and we have another fun week of Bob's Burgers ahead of us.
What episode number is this? Do you know?
This is season 4, episode 16.
Yeah, do you know what episode of our podcast, though?
Oh, of our podcast? No, I have no idea. I'm going to guess 72.
Nope, you're a little bit ahead of yourself.
Oh, okay.
It's 67.
67?
67, yep.
Okay, wow, that was a really loud
That's a loud one, too.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to turn that off.
67.
It's episode 67.
All right. So we're closing in on 75.
Yeah.
Which is a milestone, and we've passed 50, which I knew about.
50 was the big
so
milestone.
100 will be the next one. That's going to be crazy getting 100 of these back.
Yeah, I'm hoping that if everything goes our way, it'll be a good episode 100. I have to talk to you about that later, but we're not doing that today, for sure. We are doing way before episode 100 things today.
We're way before that. So
that would be season 5, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're chugging away.
We'll get there.
So season 4, episode 16. I get Psy-Chic out of you.
Psy-Chic out of you.
Psy-Chic. Oh yeah, you're right. That is spelled incorrectly.
No,
Psy-Chic.
IMDb's got it wrong. There's supposed to be a hyphen.
Yeah,
you're right. In between the Psy and the Chic. I get Psy-Chic out of you. So
which is a pun on I get a kick out of you.
Yep. So it could be Psy-Kick, but
it's
spelled chic. Something like that, whatever. But yeah, it's supposed to be a play on I Get a Kick Out of You, which is a crooner song. I don't know if Frank Sinatra was the original to sing it, but he's the one that I always think of.
The more famous one.
But yeah, this is a episode written by a friend of the podcast, John Schrader.
Woo!
Directed by Chris Song. Premiered April 6, 2014. And let me give you a quick synopsis that I have. Because all these synopses... So for a long time, the synopsis... We always went to our Plex or our Hulu to get the synopsis because IMDb would always have really bad ones.
Yeah.
I'm coming across now where they're all bad. Mm-hmm. They are just... All of them are just terrible. And I can't find a good one. So we're just going to continue doing the Plex and Hulu one and we'll go from there. So this one, after predicting that a telemarketer is calling the restaurant when the phone rings, Linda and the kids believe that she is a psychic. Needless to say, her predictions irk Bob and spell out hilarious happenings.
This seems like a pretty tried and true trope.
I'm going to pretend I'm psychic?
Yeah. Not I'm going to pretend, it's just I am psychic.
Oh.
You know? Because, maybe, I think Linda just believes in her, abilities too much,
Yeah, this is just more Linda, where if something goes her way, she's going to run with it. And she she gets full blown into it, even if there's a modicum of it not being correct. The fact that it's been more correct than not correct, that's where she keeps going with it.
Right. Do you want to do the guest stars, should we wait until after the bump?
Well, yeah, we had Bosco come back.
Yeah, which is Gary Cole.
Gary Cole. We had Mike the Mailman again.
Tim Meadows.
Mm-hmm. Those are the two big ones from this episode.
Right, but Andy Kindler is back as Mort and Pamela Adlon as Olsen Brenner. And then we have David Herman as Marshmallow. So
yeah,
and then the normal, and then it's the normal cast. That's true, but
yeah. But no, yeah, the big two that aren't in a lot of big three, I guess, because Andy Kindler I don't think is in too many. But Gary Cole, Tim Meadows come back, reprise their roles. Bosco's in a lot of episodes. Tim Meadows just kind of comes in, does a few lines, and leaves, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
Just kind of there's the mailman.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah.
Well, that's how it should be, though. Like, because then you run into the problems that other shows that shall not be named have, where they base an entire episode about around one tertiary character, and it's just awful because that's not what these characters are for. Mike the Mailman is not really meant to carry an episode. Right?
Oh, for sure.
Now could he? Sure. There's a great possibility. They have wonderful writers. I don't know what you would do with it, right? Yeah. You would need the Belchers there to kind of carry the episode. So, I'm not going to sit here and shit all over other shows who have done that, but you can't go in with, and then this is the Mailman, or this is Marshmallow, like a Marshmallow-centric episode. Like, what are you going to do with that? You know?
Yeah.
So it's fine that they come in and they have their lines here and there.
Yeah.
They fill in, that world building. They fill in the character building, through episode after episode, and then you're left with, a good, well-rounded story that, oh, look, Mr. Fishoder's back, or look, there's Mike the Mailman. I love Mike the Mailman, right? Instead of just, here's an entire episode. Everybody likes Mike the Mailman. Let's just jam him in people's faces and make a brand new episode around Mike.
I think it worked better, like you said, it's better when they're just kind of subparts.
They're not called secondary and tertiary characters for nothing, right?
No.
Teddy is the one secondary character that's, becoming more and more prevalent in every episode, and it's working very well. Mm-hmm. Right, kind of rounding out the Belcher base, so to speak, and then adding Uncle Teddy in there, and I like that. And it's working very well.
He's definitely growing into.
Now, could it work with other characters? Sure, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
But again, and not to compare other shows, but you could see as Teddy's becoming kind of like the primary secondary character. Kind of, shows like Simpsons have characters like that who are always involved in, or mostly involved in the main plot in some way. Because he does have his own episodes, and he'll be in a lot of episodes going forward, and he's been in a lot before. So, he is essentially part of the family. He's one of the core 6 or 7 characters in the show that you have to have.
Right. It can't just be about the Belchers, right? A show that's going on as long as this one has, and as long as Futurama and King of the Hill and The Simpsons, they have a very rich and diverse cast of characters, and the shows are kind of judged on how they use them, right? They don't, this one we're not making up, stories about Mike the Mailman, right? We're using him when we can.
Use him as the mailman. Use him as you should. Use him as the mailman.
Yeah, exactly. So that's enough of that.
So
we're really getting off topic.
Yeah. I remember parts of this episode. It'll be interesting to watch it fully because this is one of those few ones where I remember the basic plot and overline, but it'll be nice to see to watch it again.
I remember it a little bit. And then the cops come in and they have Linda try and solve a crime or whatever. So I don't remember as much about this one, so I'm going to look forward to giving it a recap and seeing where it stacks up with the rest of them.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's a long enough introduction.
Yeah.
So we are going to take a break. We're going to watch the episode. We suggest you do the same. Keep it fresh in your brains. So we're going to be back after the bump, and this will be Season 4, Episode 16, I Get Psy-Chic Out of You. Woo!
Order up, Len. Can you take this over?
Shh, not now, Bobby. I'm getting something. Hold on.
Oh, my God.
This is weird. I'm feeling something.
No, you're not.
Dizzy Dog, the beloved statue who's welcomed visitors to Wonder Wharf for over 30 years, has been dognapped from his familiar place at the end of the pier, leaving police baffled. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Dizzy Dog, please call into our tip line.
Hello, tip line?
Seriously, Len?
Hi, hello, tip line. Hold on. I have a tip.
Are they confused why Jerry Lewis is calling?
I see water.
Len, stop. Hang up the phone.
He's surrounded by water, and I
do
also
not do
see
this. This is ridiculous.
Substance.
Stop.
Bob, I'm on the phone, and he's crying out. Dizzy Dog's crying out. Help me.
Len.
Help me.
Hang up.
Help me.
Ready?
I'm ready. We're back.
We are back.
We're here. We're still here.
We're still. We will never leave. Oh my God, we need to stop talking at the same time.
That's fine.
So that was the episode. It was. I did forget some parts. It was nice how they kind of wrapped it all together. But yeah, let's just jump into it right away.
So I want to get this out of the way because we've had some feedback, and as we always talk about other shows when we're on this show, I just wanted to bring light real quickly to when I was watching this episode. The first thing that I thought of was the South Park episode where Eric
gets psychic
Cartman
powers.
Gets the psychic powers, or pretends to get the psychic powers, and it happens pretty much the same way that it happens in the show. He's sitting in the hospital bed, and he knows that the nurse is coming in, and he knows what's under the plate of food. In this case, though, it's a cop who's in the room because they're looking for the serial killer.
Right. And
the cop is in the room, and he's like, he may have psychic powers, so he's instilled that by somebody else, as opposed to just, kind of like in the same way that Linda is kind of instilled that thought to be a psychic because of Teddy. So I just wanted to bring it to light. We're not going to review that South Park episode. It's season 8.
Let's do it.
Cartman's Incredible Gift. Go look it up on Hulu or wherever you want to watch it. But yeah, there's a few parallels just in the sense that the powers came to be because after a few coincidences became right. It was one of those where you're like, well, I guess it is it's maybe it's not a coincidence. Maybe she has the third eye or whatever you want to call it in the psychic realm. So I guess first things first. Let me just get these out of the way. We had a full slate of words. We had a full slate of. I can't think of it. Wow, I'm running. First things first. We had first things first, we had a full slate of the running gags, the meta things that we should just get out of the way, because there was 4 burgers.
Yes, there were.
And there was the store and the truck, and then some noises at the end of the show.
The noises at the end in that song. Oh boy, those were crazy.
So the first thing was the store. The storefront was the Napoleon's Complexion skincare for little people. Which, sure, it is there. I thought it was a little weird that they're still kind of perpetuating that wrong fact that Napoleon was short and he had a complex, the Napoleon complex. And he did have a complex. It wasn't because he was short, but he did have a complex about wanting to be bigger than he was. But that's more like, I'm going to take all this land. I'm going to be a big general. I'm going to do all this stuff and be the youngest whatever.
Right.
So yes, I mean, most people think that it was because he was short, and that's done in lots of different forms of media where he is short. But he wasn't short for the time. I mean, he was probably average, which is still short compared to how we are now. But I don't know. I thought it was weird. I mean, I get it, and it was funny, but still, just to call it skincare for little people.
Right.
Talk about a market that you have a very small sample size on.
Right, exactly.
Ha.
No, good job.
Ha.
Good job, you did it.
And then the pest control truck was Curiosity Killed the Rat, which is just a play on Curiosity Killed the Rat. Or Killed the Cat. It was not the rat. Curiosity Killed the Cat. We all know it, we've all heard that growing up, that it's, don't be so curious because it's going to come back to hurt you.
It's going to come back to murder you in the face.
It is. Just like Curiosity would.
That's true.
All right, 4 burgers. Let's go through them real quick.
Yes.
First one, I felt the slaw, and the slaw won. That's all it said. I assume it comes with coleslaw either on it or on the side. This isn't the first time that there's been a coleslaw burger in the show. The Charbroil Fair Burger, which comes with parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, which I'm assuming those are all in the meat, but that's just not a good combination like that.
Or maybe it is.
It's not.
Maybe they season it properly.
Maybe he's got the right ratio. You don't just do 4 parts, one of each. And then the third burger was the Beats of the Southern Wild Burger, which is just a play on the collection of short stories, The Beasts of the Southern Wild, which I think they turned into a movie.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it's an unrelated movie, but there's a movie called Beasts of the Southern Wild.
Oh, you mean it's not a spin-off of Bob's Burgers?
No, it's not a spin-off of the book.
Oh,
Beasts of the Southern Wild.
Got it.
And then the last one was the Sympathy for the Deviled Egg Burger, which is a play off the Rolling Stones song.
Right.
Sympathy for the Devil.
Yes. Very true.
Is there something you're...
I don't know. Looks like there could be a water stain or some sagging in my drywall.
I can see it, yeah.
So I have to go up there and take a look now, because I just saw that, and I'm not thrilled about it. But anyway.
So, and then the end credit sequence, we'll just get that out of the way now, because we'll mention it again. It's Linda making some noises. John Roberts, I don't know how you get into character to do his voices, but they're simultaneously amazing and extremely annoying.
Yes.
And I know they're meant to be. It's better when they're sing-songy. These weren't exactly sing-songy.
No.
She has the song where she goes Muse dance. It kind of sounds like how Peter Griffin would make noises and say it, but John Roberts does it a lot better. Peter Griffin's is it's there, but I think the way John Roberts embodies it is way better.
Right.
But she's kind of singing or scatting or doing something, and in the background in the restaurant it's Teddy and the girl
that he ran into at
the track that he said that
he didn't have a good feeling about it. They didn't have a lot of chemistry. He's not feeling a lot of chemistry.
No.
Are you sure she meant yellow dress? Are you sure she didn't mean floral patterned greenish kind of shirt?
Yeah.
Which I like when he called to.
Yeah,
he bought in on it.
Yeah.
Hook, line, and sinker, and it's like, okay, this is what I have to do.
Well, and that's Teddy. Bless his soul. He wants to just make sure that everybody's happy, and so that's why he gave Linda a bunch of chances to get whatever he was thinking about. We'll get into that. So I do want to let's talk about that next. I want to talk about the psychic things that she did get right, and I put psychic in quotes because they weren't really psychic. She fully admits at the end of the episode that they were coincidences, and that she kind of cheated on some of them.
Right.
So the first thing that happens is Mort loses his wallet, and she goes, "I bet you. Why don't you go check?" She goes, "Why don't you go check the bathroom?" She doesn't even say it's in the bathroom. She kind of just questions, why don't you go check in there? Because maybe you left it in there.
Right.
So that's the first thing that happens. The second thing that happens is a telemarketer calls. The phone rings. She goes, oh, I bet it's a telemarketer calling. And after that one, Teddy starts to kind of play into the psychic thing. He goes, I've heard of things where people get hit in the head or struck by lightning and they develop, that unleashes all their power. Maybe you have that now.
Right.
And then the third thing is, it's okay, what's going to happen next? Who's going to walk through that door next? And she goes, it's going to be somebody tall, dark, and handsome. And who should appear but Marshmallow?
Yes.
And I love...
Which is tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah, but I love Bob's response. He goes, tall, dark, and beautiful.
Yeah.
And, and of course the kids are like, well, that's potato. It's, it is what it is. Because Marshmallow is a beautiful lady. Not a handsome lady.
That's right.
So she got those 3 things right, and then that's where she starts to get into this, yes, I am psychic. Now she's firmly psychic.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question in her mind at all about that. So, what did you think of those coincidences all happening at that?
I think they were ridiculously coincidental, if you're asking me.
I did.
But that's the point, right? Like, they needed to have a way out where they could make these things happen, get Linda to think that it was, and then have an easy escape, an easy, way to backtrack and say, oh, Linda actually isn't psychic.
Sure.
So it was easy. It was simple. They went back and said, oh, well, maybe I did remember seeing his wallet, fall out of his pocket, or, maybe I did see, or maybe I did guess that, the dog, got knocked off into the pier. So
yeah.
I'm back!
Oh, good. Nothing you told anyone was remotely accurate, and now everyone is mad at you.
What?
It's true, Linda. I went to Philadelphia last night, and I find out my ex-boyfriend is married, and he's faithful. Thanks a lot.
Well,
Yeah, and my meeting with my accountant was because I'm being audited.
I dry cleaned my Speedo like you said, and now it looks ridiculous.
Yeah, not only did I not win the shrimp eating contest, there was no shrimp eating contest, and I owe the shrimp hut $200. Yeah.
And I have yet to fall down any stairs. In fact, I've gone up and down many sets of stairs, just for fun once. So you're not psychic.
but I don't get it. I got all those other predictions right. Or did I kind of just use common sense? I guess I saw Mort's wallet falling out. And telemarketers call around 3 o'clock every day. And I guess your hands smell like oranges. Oh, God. I Kaiser Soze'd myself.
So you're saying you are not...
I'm not psychic.
Wow, who could have seen that coming? Just me, I guess.
So right before Marshmallow comes in, this is one of the funnier parts of the episode for me. Bob's like, nothing's happening to you. This isn't real. It was just 2 small coincidences. And Gene goes, that's what I call my testicles.
Right.
2 small coincidences.
A lot of good little jokes here. Nothing that was rip-roaringly funny like some episodes, but they were really quick. And, if you weren't paying attention, you'd miss them. And they were really good jokes. I liked that one.
Yeah.
I liked, where, just something so... It wasn't necessarily a joke, just kind of how it was written is where, like, okay, Mom, guess what number Tina's thinking of.
Yep, this is the next the next of the psychic things she gets right, in
it's
quotes.
Like, 9, no, 4, no, 9, no, 4, no, 9. And it's like, well, which one is it, Lynn? Bob's asking, and then Tina's like, well, that's the only thing I can think of now is 9 and 4. Well, what number were you thinking of first? It was either a 9 or a 4. And it's like, see, she's psychic, which was
that's the
totally
kids playing
awful.
into it to try to make sure that she's really a psychic, because the kids have their own little scheme that they want to cook up about earning money.
Well, Louise does. Louise is running the whole show, and it would have worked too, which was another thing that she got coincidentally right.
Yeah, and that was more of a crapshoot,
right?
Because she was actually psychically picking the wrong thing. So that was the next one, was the number Tina's head, and the final thing that she gets right, other than the horse, was the orange on the plate. So Bob's like, I want you to close your eyes. I'm going to put something on a plate under this bowl, and you're going to guess what it is. Mm-hmm. And so she grabs his hands, and this is where the coincidence comes in, where she was just kind of sniffing his hands because it would have smelled like an orange, which we all know how that smells.
Right.
And so she was able to pick his hands up, and she just kind of got a whiff of orange, and so her head thought orange, and so that was what was under the plate. Mm-hmm. So she goes, I just close my eyes and an image appears. And Bob's like, yeah, that's called
having a thought.
That's called having a thought.
And Bob, like, from the get-go, is just not having this. He's like, you're not psychic. There's no such thing as psychics. You're being ridiculous. You're wasting everybody's time. This is stupid. And he just keeps saying it over and over again. And I can totally relate because I have people in my family who are like, oh yeah, psychics are a real thing. And it's like, no, they're not.
No.
You know, and I'm sorry for alienating any listeners out there, but psychics are not a real thing. It's all purely coincidental. Don't waste your money on psychics. There, I said it.
Go get a free psychic.
Well, don't get any psychic. You can call me up. I'll tell you what's going on.
Oh, okay.
For the low price of $9.95.
Well, see, that's not a free psychic then. You're not a free psychic.
Well, how else am I supposed to put a
Linda
roof
was
over
giving
my
free
head?
readings.
Yeah.
You know, there's no money backed on her guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
So here are the things then, after that happens, now we get to start, and now we start getting into the things that are wrong. The psychic things that she gets wrong.
Sure.
So the first thing is she's giving a reading to Mort, and this is kind of the first of the noises, her psychic noises that she's making.
Mm-hmm.
So that nine, nine, you know, we've heard it before, but that's how she gets into her trance, essentially. She makes those noises, and she's like, I'm thinking of a name of something that starts with a J. This J, basically like how John Edward in his Crossing Over show would kind of do cold reads. You know, I got a J, you know, is there something with a J? You know, there's a person's name with a J. And he goes, oh yeah, what does he say? Jeffrey? He's my accountant, but he spells it with a G. And then he goes, oh, but he's Jewish. So this, and again, this whole way that people are looking for validation, to Brian's point 2 minutes ago about how psychics aren't, you know, real. They're looking for validation when they give these readings. Right. And so Mort is in here playing into it.
They're looking for the right path to go down. And they're looking for your subtle cues and your hints to go down there. And I mean, make it think like it was them that got there instead of you leading them to it.
And Linda doesn't even go there. It's just the initial piece is what she's looking to get. So it was, oh, here's a J. Oh, it must be about my accountant. And
he's Jeffrey. Well, wait, he spells his name with a G. But he's Jewish. Aha, I knew it. Psychic. And I must be getting a refund or something.
Well, he's like, I better go. He's meeting with me today. I better go file my taxes then. Right. So he thinks that something good's going to happen. Right. Which Linda never said good or bad. She just said, all right, go for it. And then the next time, the next person was Teddy. And she does a cold reading for Teddy. And she's seeing a color. Or Teddy is seeing a color or something. And she's like, it's a primary color. And then she guesses all four of like the basic primary colors. Red, green, blue, yellow. And it finally gets it right on yellow. And she sees, he's like, what is yellow? Is it a shirt? Is it a coat? Is it an umbrella? Is it, you know, and it ends up being a dress. So she thinks, or Teddy puts it together in his head. He's self-validating that it's a yellow dress. He's got to go meet somebody with a yellow dress. And a nickel. And she also sees a piece of money with it, which is a nickel. And so Teddy's like, all right, I'm going to go find a yellow dressed woman and a nickel. And Bob's like, it's not a, what did you say? It's not a scavenger hunt.
Yes, yeah, and then Teddy's like, oh, to me it is. You know, he's going out there, he's going to find all these things, and therefore Linda's going to be right. But when you're searching for it in that way, well, of course the psychic's going to be right. Yeah. You know, you're doing everything that you're not supposed to do. It's supposed to happen to you, right? Yep. So
the next thing then is Gretchen. So she does a reading for Gretchen, and she sees a bell. And again, Gretchen, self-validating this, goes, oh, Liberty Bell, must be Philadelphia. And so then they kind of have a little banter, and she's going to go to Philadelphia to meet her ex-boyfriend and get back together, is what she thinks is going to happen. And then she kind of curses Bob, essentially, by saying Bob's going to fall downstairs. And then that's the last of those ones that she gets wrong in that group, because then we get the call into the police to find out that Dizzy Dog is in the water. And then so she comes in, or then Bosco comes in and hires her to help with the Little Boy Bandit?
Yes, the Little Boy Bandit, which is a really weird name. But they think he's just a small person who dresses up like a little boy and who's got little wheels on his shoes to help him get away quick.
Yep. So then that's where she goes and helps the cops, at least Bosco, and trying to read evidence and lead them down places. And so she thinks, so somehow it's kind of weird how it happens, because she's just kind of playing along with it at this point. Like she doesn't know how it works. She very admittedly says, I don't know how this works. It's still fresh to me. And so she doesn't know how to read to get a sense of where the Little Boy Bandit is. So she picks up some of the stuff that they've recovered from scenes of the crime. And then she eats food and thinks that might help. And then she somehow gets an image of something. And Bosco relates it to the Wharf Arts Center, which I think this is the first time that they've ever called it the Wharf Arts.
I think it's the first time they ever
mentioned it, yeah.
So it's like, oh, the Wharf Arts Center, and then Linda's like, Wharf Arts? And he's like, no, the Wharf Arts Center. They got a whole thing going on down there, but I haven't finished my food. They got food there, and they just peel out like an old '70s cop TV show.
All right, Linda, that's your fourth dog. Anything coming to you yet?
Yeah, not yet. Oh, wait, something's coming. Oh, it's just a burp. I'm gassy.
Come on, Linda, focus.
Sorry.
Look, if I don't catch this guy, my captain will tear me a new one. Now take a look in that brain of yours and tell me where he's gonna strike next.
All right, give me a minute. Psychics didn't predict Rome in a day. Hold on. Oh, I see a building.
Good, keep going.
I see walls.
Yeah.
Oh, and windows.
All right.
You can see right out them.
Yeah, I get it.
There's something on the wall. Maybe pictures.
What are you talking about? Art? Building with art?
I'm still gassy.
What about the Wharf Arts Center? Is it the Wharf Arts Center?
Wharf Arts?
Wharf Arts. They have a charity ball thing going on there right now, today. Lots of wallets and purses and jewelry. Let's roll. Let's go down there.
I'm still eating my hot dog.
They have food at the thing.
Yeah, I think
So the Wharf Arts thing is really funny.
I mean, they've shown it before. I don't think they've ever said it.
Yeah.
But they've shown it in Bad Tina because that's where cake happens.
Yes.
And then Presto Tino is where the the magic show took place.
Which Wharf Arts? I want them to go more into that. I bet that could be really funny.
Yeah.
With Wharf Arts.
Yeah, just the name is funny.
It's very clever.
So they get there. He's not there, and so then Linda finally gets. So Linda basically goes back home for something. Oh, somebody. How did that happen? Did she get a call that she had to go back?
She had to go back because Bosco was basically just like, I'll take it from here, and so she left, and then
that's right, yeah,
because like she couldn't be there. So then they're back at the restaurant, and Bob gets a call from Teddy saying that he and the kids are at the track, and basically find out that Linda is not a psychic because everybody's there. Gretchen is there, and Mike the mailman.
So let's go through those real quick.
Sure.
I gotta find them again. So we had the. So originally, Gretchen first was the one who came out and said that her boyfriend was now married and happily married.
Married, and he's faithful. Thanks a lot, Linda.
Yeah. And then Mort was getting an audit as opposed to getting a refund.
Mm-hmm.
There was also something the Speedo guy came in and she said she asked him to dry clean
my Speedo, and now it looks ridiculous, which maybe it does, maybe it doesn't.
I didn't notice at all what it looked like. And then Mike the mailman apparently was told to go to a shrimp eating contest. Not only did I not win a shrimp eating contest, there was no shrimp eating contest, and now I owe $200 to Shrimp Hut.
He just went in and thought there was a shrimp eating contest and ate all the food. That was not a good idea.
Yeah. So then she's like, I guess everything that I predicted before was just coincidence. So she has to call Bosco up, and she goes back and tells Bosco, I'm not really psychic. And she goes, well, I'm gonna arrest he's like, I'm gonna arrest somebody today because my whole career depends on this case. And then they get a call about the kids being down at the track, and from Bob, and Bob's like, hey, the little boy bandit is here.
You gotta get Bosco. You gotta get him to come down here. So that's why she goes back to the Wharf Arts Center to get Sergeant Bosco to get him over to the track. And they ruin Louise's perfect plan.
Yeah. So let's just finish up this A story real quick. So they get there. They get to the track. They arrest the little boy bandit. Bosco basically takes all the credit for it because Linda didn't really help at all. And he goes, I do want to give special thanks to somebody else who helped me on the case. And what did he says? My friend, my gun and his friend, my other gun, is what he says. And then that kind of ends that story. They come to terms that she's not really psychic. But they're trying to justify that she did help him solve the case. Because if I wasn't psychic and I didn't tell the kids this and I didn't do that, basically trying to go back and validate everything to maybe she helped on the case, just trying to make herself feel better, and the kids are helping along with that too. She's like, I don't believe in psychic powers, but I know they exist,
right?
And like, if I hadn't done this and this, we wouldn't know. Bosco would never have caught the bandit because he would have been in the wrong spot,
right?
So that's the end of that story. So let's kind of talk quickly about the only other story that really happens in this episode, and that's the kids' plan to use their mom's new power for profit gains.
Yes. Which, of course, is anything that Louise would do. She wants to go out and...
Go ahead and talk about this one.
Louise wants to go out and make all the money in the world, right? That's always one of her goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she finds a way to do that with her mom being a, quote, psychic. Well, we got to put her to the test, right? They put her through all these tests, guessing,
the numbers. The number in the bowl, I think, were the two that they needed.
Yep. And they're like, that's it. Mom's a psychic. So we can figure this out. So on the way home, which is very curious, by the way, Louise and the kids, her other siblings, walk into or across like newspaper stands, right? And so they go in. Louise puts a quarter in and gets a newspaper out of the sports section, and it's the racing form, essentially, like with all of the odds for and against the horses for the races that day. How does she know that's there? Like how smart is Louise? That's crazy that she knows, well, this is where we need to go. We need to go in and we need to find out where the horses are racing, and that way we'll give the names to Mom and she'll be able to tell us which one is better.
I would think that it's not her first time.
You have a gift. It's gonna make some people nervous. If this was 1980, you'd be burned as a witch.
Exactly.
On a happier note, which name do you like more? Sea Bagel, Pride of Detroit, Mudbutt, or Gelding the Lily?
Lily. Go with the Lily one. What is this for?
Oh, we're renaming Tina.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't choose Mudbutt.
Yeah, so not her first time with a racing form, which is very bizarre. Like, when did she pick this up? That's the episode
I'm
that
sure
I want to.
I'm sure she's probably
check out.
I think she's probably looked at them before. I mean, for somebody who's as devious as her, it's she's definitely probably looked into it before. Like, what can I, maybe she's practiced horse, betting as far as like just watching, because they obviously knew how to place a bet. I mean, so she's learned from somebody, or learned by watching or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, she picked it up really quick. It was crazy. I was really surprised, and I was like, man, like how does she know this? That's crazy. But then again, it is Louise, and Louise is very cunning and very, very intelligent. So, I like that. That's her plan, right? We're just gonna go. We're gonna put it on a horse. We're gonna go down, which is more world building in this episode, right? They go down to the track.
They're putting all of Tina's money on the horse, and then they're gonna split it 3 ways. Right,
which is perfect, right? In hindsight, because the other 2 kids don't have any money, and Tina's the only one that does. So that was their whole big plan. So they go in and to the restaurant. Louise is like, "Hey, Mom, which one of these names do you like best?" And she starts naming them off, right? Gilding the Lily, and what was the other one, like Butt Mud or something like that.
So sure,
it starts reading off the horses' names.
So what was Sea Bagel?
Yes.
The Pride of Detroit, Mudbutt, or Gelding the Lily.
Gelding the Lily.
Gelding the Lily.
Gelding.
So,
must be a horse term.
It is. We will talk about that when you were done with what you were saying.
Oh, thanks. So they get the names, and she's like, "Oh, the Lily one. Okay, what was this for? Oh, we're renaming Tina. Oh, good thing I didn't pick Mudbutt."
Yeah. So they basically had her pick a name for the horses. So Gelding the Lily. So the term gelding means to castrate a horse.
Oh, jeez.
So Gelding the Lily would be, they're basically just castrating the horse.
No, I got
it. There is an Urban Dictionary.
It's just a pun on guilt. It's just a pun on guilt.
Yeah. So there's
Gelding the Lily.
Yeah, and so there's an Urban Dictionary definition of gelding the lily or gelded the lily, which means to like sabotage somebody's perfect work.
Right.
Which is also kind of plays into this whole scenario also, which I thought was kind of neat that it.
Yeah, that's pretty clever. Works 2 ways. So then they get to the track. Where they kind of run into Teddy, and they talk him into putting the money, on the horse for them on their behalf. And Bob gets a call from Teddy saying, "Hey, it's me, Teddy. Are you sure Linda didn't mean, a floral patterned shirt instead of a yellow dress? Because I see somebody down here, but I'm not. There's really not a connection. Are you sure that could be what she meant?" And he's like, I can't right now, Teddy. I have to find the kids. Oh, the kids are down here. They're at the track with me, Bob. You should probably pay more attention. Which is basically how the conversation went. So I thought that was really funny. Where it's like, oh no, they're down here with me. I got taken care of. And then you're like, oh hey Tina, don't touch that, or Louise, don't run out onto the track. There's horses racing. He's like, Bob, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And so then that's when the 2 stories converge, where Bob has to go and rescue the kids or pick up the kids from the track, and Linda then, realizing she's not psychic, has to go and help Bosco. So that's basically what happens. And there's a lot of great little jokes like we mentioned earlier that happened. Like, number one, being Linda's psychic noises, but I did love, the conversations that they had. They seemed to be more, better, that flow better. Like when she's talking with Bosco on the, when they're like, all right, maybe my psychic powers aren't working because I'm a little hungry. Maybe I need to just get some food. It's like, fine, we'll go get some hot dogs. Ooh, do we get free hot dogs from the card? He's like, I do, you don't. Mm-hmm. So just these little flippant responses that we get from people. And then we have Bob, being afraid of going down the stairs because Linda's like, okay, Bob, well, if you don't believe I'm psychic, just, don't go down any stairs. And, which is kind of like a threat. Yep. But, there's nothing that she did wrong. And then we see Bob, he needs to go down to the basement to get some more produce for the burgers. And, he kind of starts second-guessing himself. He realizes that maybe she could be telling the truth, or maybe she could be psychic. Right? There's that little lingering doubt.
I think his doubt is more about, I don't want to fall to prove Linda right.
That's true.
He because he's like, why don't we have a railing? I thought we used to have a railing here. He's just starting to overanalyze everything.
Yeah, why don't we have a railing here? Which is really bizarre. They should have a railing either on the wall or on the side of the stairwell. Yeah. Which was really...
I think most of it is him not wanting to prove Linda right, because then if he falls, it's going to be like, well, crap, she predicted that I was going to fall. But that's such a weird thing for a psychic to predict, would be
true.
Somebody's going to fall. Because everybody falls occasionally. Bob falls at the end of the episode, even though he says he didn't.
But according to Bob, he walked down the stairs really fast,
yeah.
Which I thought was really funny. And H. John Benjamin doing a great voice impression of somebody who just fell down the stairs and is in a lot of pain. Mm-hmm. So I like that a lot. I also liked when the cop cars come rolling up to stop the horse race.
Yeah.
Right? They stopped the race in its tracks. Louise's horse didn't win, even though it was
it was pretty far ahead.
Clear that horse was going to win. But the cop cars roll up on the track, which would never happen. They'd wait till the race is over.
Mm-hmm. If there's one thing Psych has taught me.
Yes, that's
right.
Wait
until the race is over.
That's right. The race only takes that long, right? So... then after all this, the little boy bandit gets tackled and the horse race gets interrupted by squad cars rolling out onto the track. Gene just says, I want my next birthday party to be on the track, mm-hmm. which was him coming to this realization that the track is awesome. There's lots of fun to be had mm-hmm. down at the racetrack, which is really funny. I could only imagine a 11-year-old's birthday party on the racetrack. Yeah. I could only imagine the invitation for that one. So there's a lot of great things going on in this episode. The story flowed very well. But I did like, a lot of the stuff, like how everything kind of got intermingled a little bit, mm-hmm. right? Where we see Linda with Bosco. I like them, kind of being paired up because like he has no patience. He doesn't believe in psychics, so he's very short with her. He's like, all right, maybe you could get like a vision or something and just do something, right? Because it's really hard for him. He can't figure out, who this little boy bandit is. And I like, that Gene had a lot of fun, at the track. That was my big takeaway from that.
Yep. The only one thing that I would want to add to what you had said, there's a couple things that we didn't mention. Just one of them was, again, when Linda's calling in the tip about Dizzy Dog, mm-hmm. she's making her psychic noises to try to come up with an answer. So she didn't even have the answer beforehand. She called the tip line and said, I can give a tip, and started just psychically trying to read over the phone. She was making those noises. And Bob says, do they think Jerry Lewis is calling? During that thing, which because Jerry Lewis was pretty famous for making noises similar to that as well.
Yeah. If for anybody who doesn't know, just Google Jerry Lewis. He's got a slightly, a big ripoff was Professor Frank, mm-hmm. Kind of. From The Simpsons, being like a nutty professor with the Glyven and the Hyman, kind of mm-hmm. weird, goofy noises that he would do, very nasal. And so that's what Jerry Lewis was, very famous for. Everybody thought he was a laugh riot, and they were absolutely correct. He's a very hysterical man. And so that's where that line comes in, which is a nice throw. And then they made some other references to Sandy Duncan, and I don't really know who that is, so that was definitely lost on me.
Sandy Duncan.
I know of her, like she was big back in the day, but I don't know whose day, and I don't know what for. So I know she had a glass eye, I think, was the other thing. Sandy Duncan had a glass eye, but I don't that's it. That's all I know of her. I don't really know who she
I don't
was.
either. I just looked her up real quickly while you were speaking, and I haven't seen. She was
I've
in the Hogan Family, which I didn't even know about that sitcom.
Oh, it was a sitcom. I thought you meant like, Hulk Hogan's sister? That's weird.
Oh, no. I don't see much. She was big in theater, is what it looks like.
Okay.
There's Jerry Lewis. I just look that up. I knew him. Just don't look up Jerry Lee Lewis. They were both.
Yeah, two totally different people.
Yeah.
One's Great Balls of Fire, and the other one is a comedian.
Yes. I mean, they were both actors, but yeah, one is the comedian who's saying, "Goodness gracious, great balls of fire."
Yeah, that was Jerry Lee Lewis.
It was.
Yeah, and he died in that plane crash, right?
No, he's still alive.
Oh, all right.
The Big Bopper.
Well, there was two other people in the plane crash.
Jerry Lewis is alive still. Yeah, he's still alive. He's 83.
Jerry Lewis is still alive.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Jerry Lee Lewis is still alive. Okay. I was like, I thought Jerry Lewis was... Okay, this is...
Jerry Lewis passed away last August.
Oh my gosh, so many rails that we were getting off.
So many weird people that were alive at the same time and with the same name.
Yeah, well, just the two, really.
Yeah, but that's still pretty coincidental that they were both in showbiz.
That's true.
And most likely Jerry Lee Lewis... I mean, I guess I don't know who was first, but one of them couldn't go by something because of whatever because they were both actors, so one of them had to change their name. So I don't know.
Nobody knows.
I think Jerry Lewis came first, and that was why Jerry Lee Lewis had to go by Jerry Lee Lewis.
So, anyway, that's the episode.
It is.
More or less, right?
Yeah.
I think we can jump into our ratings.
Go for it.
And we will come back after the break and have some final thoughts.
Bob's Burgers.
Bobby, it's me. I'm at the track. Is Linda sure the dress is yellow?
Well,
could it be a floral pattern and not a dress but a vest?
Teddy.
I think we're supposed to meet, but I'm not feeling any chemistry, to be perfectly honest.
Teddy.
Nothing.
Teddy.
Like zero.
Teddy.
Well, what's up, Bob?
Listen, shockingly, it turns out Linda's not psychic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually a relief. I was terrible at her predictions, but boy, the kids are gonna be crushed.
Why?
They put all their money on that horse Linda picked.
Wait, where are the kids?
They're with me at the track.
What?
You didn't know, Bobby?
No.
You really should keep a better eye on your kids, Bobby. You know, they could end up anywhere. In this case, they're safely with me at the track. Nothing to worry about. Tina, don't touch that. Maurice, get off at the track. The horses are racing. I better go. Bye, Bob.
Teddy. Teddy.
All right, I've mathed it up.
You got your maths all ready to go?
Math is done. Math is hard, but we did it.
Okay.
Calculators on the computer help.
Yeah, I bet they do. All right, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, I got 2 minutes.
Okay.
So go.
Go. All right, meta jokes. We had the Napoleon's complexion. Curiosity killed the rat, and then the 4 burgers. I'm not going to recap. I gave that an 8. Again, the sheer amount of volume that we had of the burgers. Oh, we also had the end credit with her making the annoying noises. I gave it an 8. Just, again, something different for the credits. And then lots of burgers, which is good. We've kind of had a dry spell on burgers this season, so it was nice to see a whole bunch come back.
Yep, I give it an 8 as well, if not for anything but sheer volume, just like you said.
Story I gave a 7. It was a straightforward story. There was nothing special in the story going on for me, but it definitely was, like Ryan had said before, it's easy to follow. It doesn't deviate too much from just what it needs to do, so I'll give it a 7.
I give the story an 8. I really liked it. I liked that we got to see, more Linda, with Bosco, or just more Bosco in general. I love that Teddy's hanging out with the kids again, and I like that, Bob being the voice of reason, throughout the entire episode. So I like that they kept that true, and he didn't turn at all. So I really like that. So I'll give it an 8.
All right. Humor, I gave a 7. Again, Brian did mention it earlier. There's lots of small, fun moments. There was not really any of the large laugh-out moments, but there was lots of small chuckle hut moments that I enjoyed. So I give that a 7.
One of the funny ones was that, last time I got, where Linda's trying to recap her being a psychic, and she's like, well, last time it happened, I got hit in the head, so maybe I need to get hit in the head again. And Bosco goes, okay. And he brings out his gun like he's going to pistol whip her across the head, and I thought that was really funny. Like, he's ready to try anything to solve this case. I thought that was really funny. So I gave it a 7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then other I gave a 6. Again, we had Bosco, we had all the guest voices come back, but there was nothing new that was brought to the show at all. There was no new original music or anything. So, but it was just nice to have some guest characters. We
had world building. We got to see the War Farts building, which I'm always going to call War Farts.
We've seen that before though, so that's nothing new.
And we got to see. I was going to say
we got to see the track. We saw new.
Yeah, the track was the other new place that we got to see as well. So there was a lot of nice world building, character building as well in this episode. That's 2 minutes.
All right. That's a 7.1 for me, 7.5 for you. It's a 7.3. Smack dab in the middle there.
Yeah. It's another solid episode. Above 7, which is well above average.
Yeah, I forget what our average is now.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anything above a 7
I haven't done that math recently because it's hard to do when I'm not looking at it at
well, and we're changing it every week though too. So you got to keep looking at it.
But I've got. I mean, it does the average when I put the numbers in, but I'm not at work to check those numbers right now.
Got it.
So I just kind of have to go with what I think it is.
Sure, understood.
So yeah, I think the last average that we had was like 7.3. So
yeah,
our last average score was 7.4. So just a little bit below average for us, but it's not That's again, it's still right there in the middle.
Sure.
So there's nothing bad about that at all.
Sure. And that's going to do it for us. Want to give a shout out to all the fans who keep still listening to us, all of the Bob's Burgers fans who keep putting up with us in our crummy summaries of every single episode. So we do appreciate it.
I mean, they're kind of. I don't think they're that crummy.
No, I mean, I was more so being, like
humble,
self-deprecating, right?
Oh, okay.
Right.
Sure. That's what you want to call it.
Exactly. So, we are the Burgers and Fries podcast. You can find us wherever you're listening to us right now, right? Wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Burgers Fries Pod. We are there doing fun clips and videos sometimes. And you can find us, well, on Patreon as well, because this shit ain't free. No, just kidding. No.
It is free.
It is free.
You just got to host the podcast. That's the part that we like. But we also have other fun stuff on the Patreon.
Yep.
We've got some old archives of old shows that we've done. We got some special interviews on there. Any amount helps us go a long way to getting more that we can offer for the show as well. So just kind of go ahead and take a look at it if you want. Patreon.com/burgers and fries.
Woot. That's us.
And that is us.
So, think that's going to do it.
Actually, I should double check that.
We could be giving people
burgers and fries. You're right. I'm right.
This wrong information this whole time.
You guys are all going to the wrong Patreon.
Oh no! Don't give them money. You got to take your money back. Give it back to us.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, there's a couple tiers on there. We offer some stuff and opportunities to join in.
We do have stuff.
So go ahead and give it a check if you want. And that's about it. That's all I got. Okay. I'm gonna ramble and stumble some more.
That's right. We really got to do a better job of writing down our notes.
I did write down my notes, but I don't write down those bumpers.
No, that's true. So that's going to do it from us. Do it for us. Wow. I think we need to stop. We need to stop. This is going to be the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I'm Brian.
I'm Ryan. Don't you tell me no lies.